Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into the incredible journey of how a simple animal hide becomes the durable, beautiful leather we see all around us. It's a fascinating transformation that's part ancient art, part modern science. You might have a leather jacket, a wallet, or even a couch you're sitting on right now. We use it every day. But have you ever really stopped to think about how that happens? How a perishable skin from an animal gets turned into a material that can last for decades? Well, it all comes down to one core process, tanning. This is the magic step, really. It's what turns that soft, organic material, which would otherwise decay, into something incredibly strong and long-lasting. But before any of that can happen, the journey starts somewhere way more fundamental.
So, this whole journey doesn't begin in some specialized workshop. Nope. It starts as a direct byproduct of the global meat industry.
That's right. The huge majority of leather comes from animals that were raised for food. And that makes the hide the single most valuable byproduct of that entire process. Its potential, its quality, it's all determined from the very beginning. And get this, the hide only makes up about 7% of a cow's live weight. Just 7%. That small fraction makes every single piece an incredibly valuable commodity, one that has to be handled perfectly. And because it's so valuable, that initial quality is, well, it's everything. The final price, what the leather can be used for, it all depends completely on the condition of that raw skin, which, as it turns out, is vulnerable to all sorts of damage.
And so many things can go wrong right at the start. Pressure sores from the animal's life, damage from vermin, even tiny knife cuts during processing, or insect bites if the hide isn't preserved fast enough. Any one of these can ruin the material before it even gets to the tannery.
Because as soon as that hide is removed from the animal, the clock starts ticking. It becomes a literal race against time.
And this is the first huge challenge. A fresh hide is full of moisture and protein. Basically, it's a perfect buffet for bacteria. Without immediate action, it will just rot. It would become completely useless.
So how do they stop it? Well, the most common solution is an ancient one. Salt. First, the hides get a good cleaning. Then, they're heavily salted. The salt works to draw the water out, which stops that bacterial growth cold. After draining, the water content plummets, making the hides stable enough to be shipped off to a tannery.
All right, so once the preserved hide arrives at the tannery, that's when the real multi-stage transformation begins.
So the main goal here is to get the hide ready for the tanning chemicals. This means removing everything that isn't part of that core protein structure. We're talking hair, fat, all that preservation salt, and then rehydrating the hide to get it pliable again. This stage is a really fascinating mix of chemistry and old-school mechanics. First, they soak the hide to wash out all the salt. Then it goes into a lime solution, which loosens up the hair and actually swells the protein fibers inside. A machine called a flesher scrapes off any fat. After that, it's delimed, and finally, a process called baiting uses enzymes to soften the skin. And that last step, baiting, is absolutely key. You can think of it as a kind of controlled microscopic deep clean using enzymes. These proteins gently clear up the grain, get rid of any leftover hair roots, and give the final leather its signature softness and flexibility. It's a really delicate but crucial part of the process. And all of that prep work brings us to the main event, the final act. The chemical process that actually creates leather and gives the whole craft its name. This is where science permanently alters the hide's molecular structure. And it's not just some surface coating, it's a fundamental change that locks all those protein fibers in place, making them stable, well, forever. So whether they're using traditional plant-based tannins or modern minerals like chromium, the core chemistry is the same. Tanning agents get inside the hide and physically bond with the collagen. That's the main structural protein. This cross-linking action is what locks the fibers together, preventing the hide from ever rotting again and turning it into durable leather. So when you really step back and look at it, this whole complex journey is a story of preservation. It takes something that would naturally decay in a matter of days and, through some seriously clever science, transforms it into a material that can last a lifetime. Seeing the intricate process behind something as familiar as a piece of leather really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other hidden journeys of science and transformation are embedded in the everyday materials all around us?